I think you ought to know. Do-do-what-it-up. Men's Radio. Do-do-what-it-up. The place where men and women really speak. Do-do-what, do-do-do-what. Oh man, what a show. Do-do-what-it-up. It's Men's Radio. Do-do-what-it-up. This crazy show is on 3 times a week. Do-do-what, do-do-do-what. Now Russ and Phil are there to help with all your cares. We laugh, we cry, we talk like grown-ups do. But if you're sad and low, it won't cost you no dough. Men's Radio, that's the place for you. With Russ Kane and Phil Dave.
Oh, and it ended. There we go. Hi, everybody. The reason I was doing the magnificent and gesticulations, I had to fire Phil Dave. He had to go. The cravats were driving me mad. The cravats, the hats, the 3-piece suits when it's 200 degrees outside. I just couldn't take it. I can't take it. I need someone more down to earth, someone who is the king of New Malden comedy, someone who I go back with decades, someone who he's the cheeky boy of that area of Tolworth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Neil Long. No, it isn't. That went really badly. Oh, God, shit. That was utter shit.
Fridays. How many more times have I got to tell you I don't do Fridays?
I know you don't do Fridays, and I'm very grateful. Don't think I'm not.
And you didn't really fire him. You're just buttering me up.
I am. I'm trying to big you up because you were available and he's not.
Yeah, and I'm the cheapest in the price range.
Look, Rupert Murdoch calls. Phil goes running. What can you do? That's how it is. What have we got? Excitement. We've got a guest. We've got a guest coming in a minute, and a guest from Italy. I don't mean Italian. I mean live from Italy. Julie Voice. Hi, y'all. Oh Jesus Christ! Just off to a garden centre for a scone.
Julie,
you've
got to watch this rock and roll lifestyle.
She's
one
living
day,
life on the edge. She's
it's going to catch up with you, and you're going to regret it, girl.
She is the Keith Richards of Guildford.
She really is.
She's unbelievable.
Is it a cheese scone or a fruit scone?
She'll be just going like crazy. Cheers, everyone.
I mean, don't tell me there's clotted cream and strawberry jam as well. That is so decadent.
By the way, and now this is welcome to BBC Radio Norwich. Tell me something. Do you put your Neil? Great to have you on the show. Do you put your cream on first or your jam? Because that's the big decision and the big debate today. Okay, Kimmy Lashmar, Pop Master. She's on Pop Master. Kimmy
I know.
Did really well. Did well.
How did you get on, Kimmy? I saw it on Facebook. Did you win?
Yeah, we were watching. I was watching all the clips. Kimmy, let us know how you're doing.
Did you beat Ken Bruce?
She must have met Ken Bruce because they were in the same.
No, did you beat Ken Bruce?
Oh, I don't know. Hello, boys. I'm going to Salford. Why would anyone want to? Why would you want to tell people you're going to Salford?
I couldn't tell you.
That's like saying I've got to see the proctologist at 3:00. You don't want to tell everybody. Just a fact.
No, I know.
You know. Anywho, ask me how my morning's been.
How's your morning been? Shit. What happened?
Well, Ebony, my little mini schnauzer, has not been well, right? Oh. I kept thinking, well, it might improve. No. So eventually, nothing else we could do. We had to go down to the vet. Got an appointment. They were absolutely charming, really lovely. 94 quid later.
How's Ebony?
Well, she's just here having a little snooze. She's okay.
Good.
She's okay. It's
she's going to be all right.
Please God, yeah.
Prognosis is good, is it?
Bless you. It's a gastro thing. You know, I'm not going to go into details because you might be having your breakfast or an early lunch. Barry J. Allen. Good afternoon to you, Barry J. Allen. Look at this. Graham Pack. That's so typical bloody accountant and lawyer. Look at this. That's so rude. I'm not reading that out. You can read it out.
Longie has gone from cheeky boy to miserable git over appearing on Friday. I know. All I need is a copy of the Daily Mail. And the whole transformation is complete.
Daily Mail. Make them angry or leave them worried. That's the whole adage of the Daily Mail. Look at this. What do we got? Kimmy Lashwell did great. What do we got? Oh, no, bless her. That's absolutely right. So on Kimmy Lashwell, they move. You explain about Popmaster because it's really much more your thing than me.
I must admit, I don't know exactly how the game works. I did hear it
on the radio.
No, apparently Liz, come on.
Ken Bruce.
Right, quick special guest, someone to explain Popmaster.
Okay. Popmaster. I'll keep doing it till I get. Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous, pulchritudinous Liz Saul, who has tempted us by saying that she's off to Salford. We can only dream of such showbiz heights.
How does Popmaster work?
My top looks very weird. I haven't.
It looks like you're wearing a brick wall. What the bloody hell is going on?
It's really good. How do you do that?
How do you?
All in all, you're just another brick in our wall.
No. All in all, you're just another girl called Liz. Hang on, you're ruining my lyrics. All in all, you're just another girl called Liz Saul.
I like that. See what you did there.
That's very good.
Yes. Popmaster.
Popmaster, how does it work?
It works.
Come on.
It works by having two people on.
Right.
They each have to answer 10 questions, loosely based on a topic for the bonus questions.
Okay.
And you can get up to 39 points. And the person who gets the most points in that first round, it asks one person, then the other person, then goes through to 3 in 10.
I'm completely. I don't understand this at all.
I guess
this is like the odds.
Yes.
This is like the odds at Kempton Park, 33-1.
Yes, exactly.
2-1.
So 3 in 10. What happens in 3 in 10 is then you can win the grand prize. Is that you have to name 3 songs by one artist in 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. Good. All right, I get it. Anyway, we mentioned all this because the lovely Kimmy Lashmar has just been on it. I think this is like episode 1 or something of Popmaster. And I'm pleased for Ken Bruce. I think that's a good thing.
Go now.
I was thinking of a Michael Jackson lyric. She is Liz Saul. She looks like a wall. Like a wall, like a wall. Thank you very much for being on.
Are you on drugs? Are you on drugs again?
Yeah, or at least I should
Liz
be.
Saul. Look at that. She takes the wall with her. Bloody weird.
I know, she thunders around like she owns the place.
What the hell? She does own the place. What's the matter with you?
It's like the San Francisco earthquake.
This is a good one.
What?
It is a good one. Could you read this?
I know I'm not reading that out. That's just
with Ebony having a gastro issue. Is her vet playing Plopmaster? You're not wrong.
We've got a very special guest coming up on the show, said Neil, glossing over the comment from Graham.
Yeah, glossing over Ebony's incontinence at the moment. Go on.
Her name's Emily Dexter. She's a good friend and colleague of mine. And I think I can see her coming now. And there's 3 time zones in this world. In England, there's British Standard Time, Greenwich Mean Time, and Emily Standard Time.
What is that? Is that just rubbish time? I'll be down in 20 minutes, 3 hours later.
Yeah,
sorry.
But she is doing, and I didn't think we had a guest today, I must admit, but we can squeeze her in, I guess.
Well, it was a surprise. I'll explain. I'll explain because otherwise we look like twerps. As if. Chantel is on holiday in Italy and a couple of weeks ago said, can't make the show. And I said, of course, you're on holiday. Enjoy Italy, naturally. And Neil very kindly has stepped in because Phil, yesterday's man, Dave, is, again, he's cleaning Rupert's car. Rupert wasn't happy with it last week. Dust in the ashtray or something. Anyway, so thanks to Neil. And then I get a message as I got back from the vet. I'm available from Chantel in Italy. So there we go.
So we've got some lovely women on the show today, Chantel and Emily and Liz, of course, as well.
Liz, she's an honorary bloke. Right, I can't believe I just said that. Neil is bricking it very, very good. And also coming in from Turkey, Elizabeth Green. There we go. And this
how's the stand-up comedy going, Elizabeth?
Yeah, this is good. Good day from New York. We continue to be blessed with Canadian smoke. If you haven't seen this, because we're too busy, worrying about Holly Willoughby. Is she okay? Who gives a shit? Lecture. Did you see this week, Longie? There's a big article. I'm worried about climate change because of my church. She does this whole thing, right? And then she goes to Glastonbury in a helicopter.
Who?
Holly Willoughby.
Oh.
It's like, you couldn't make this garbage up. One rule for you and one rule for everybody else. That's right, isn't it? Phil is busy stalking Gary Wilmot. Yeah, he was on Gary's an old mate with Panto and everything.
But actually, if we're
Lovely
talking
guy.
about mental health on the show, I wish Phil Schofield all the very best. Because
Me too. Isn't it interesting?
Because that's what this is all about. And that's not going to be easy what's happened to him.
I
So
wasn't going to go there.
erring on the side of compassion here, whatever opinions people have got.
No, she didn't. Kimmy Lasswell, no, she didn't bloody well queue to get in. She was helicoptered in, took a private helicopter and waltzed in. Here's the thing, and I didn't think I was going to say this, but I am going to say this. They absolutely crucified Philip Schofield.
Yeah.
I've never met Philip. I don't know him. I've got no axe to grind, no skin in the game, right? I haven't. At all. Never met Holly Willoughby. I don't even watch the show, so it's irrelevant. But I have never seen anybody just publicly destroyed as the way they destroyed him. And I've been waiting, as has everybody. Oh, there's so much more to come. Oh, he's like the Gary Glitter. Nothing.
No.
Not a dicky bird. Nothing else has come out. Nothing else has come out. And it's like, really?
Yeah, and I don't think it would. It's just the
How's going
media.
on
They
there?
just like to destroy. And okay, if that's what they want to do, but he looked. I saw some clips. He looked like an absolutely broken man.
Well, he is
And for a show
broken man.
talking about mental health, that was
Precisely.
absolutely
He
bloody
is a broken
disgusting.
man. He is
You
a
know,
broken man.
have we learned nothing from Caroline Flack and
No.
things like that?
Learned
Have we
nothing.
learned nothing from that?
No, we've learned absolutely nothing from it. And the irony is, Neil, and I'm not, please don't mention any names, so I do not want to get litigious. However,
sure.
one of the main people demonizing Philip Schofield, who I don't know, all right? It's just a bloke off the telly to me and does adverts. He was the one pushing against Caroline Flack. You couldn't make this crap up. It's just awful.
You know, what are our values in this society? Do we just want a great story which will blow over in a week, for nothing, or do we actually care about people's mental health? Which is higher on the list of values here?
Neil,
because I know which way around it should be.
You know, I deal with a lot of PR companies.
And yeah, I've seen the funny memes and I've laughed just as much as anyone else. I've seen them all, but all the same, that's just a funny joke.
Right,
you know, mental health matters, and that's why we're here.
I'm going to put a comment up, and I didn't think we were going to get into this, but this is the joy of.
Our guest has arrived, by the way. She's here.
All right, but if you could just hang for a sec. This is coming in from Spain. Chrissy Richards. Hello, boys. According to some people, we don't know who, he wasn't a nice person. Okay. So he destroyed.
Yeah. So what?
He
Karma,
retribution. Whose lives did he? Chrissy, I get that, and you are a member of the public, and you're totally entitled to your opinion. But you know, if we got rid of everybody who isn't a nice person, boy, the tubes would be empty. So would the buses.
And with all the respect in the world, Chrissy, you did say apparently you don't know. What source are you getting it from? How do you actually know that? How does anyone really know that?
But the point about it is this, right? What's he paid to do? He's paid to present a show. Did he do it well? Yeah, he did it very well. Is he professional? Highly professional. Is he a nice person? Haven't a clue. Never met him. I don't know. Apparently the atmosphere wasn't great, putting it mildly. Yes, possibly he was a bit of a bully. Did he deserve to be destroyed in public like that?
No.
Because unless...
Does anyone? What are we going to do?
Gary Glitter, yes.
Remember the Colosseums and throw people lines that we don't like. Should we go back to that? I mean, is that what we want? Do we want blood?
Oh, they do.
Shall we burn people at the stake, calling them witches? I mean, how far back do we want to go here?
Shall I tell you? If they could, they would. Of course they would. They'd go back.
Shall we introduce our lovely guest?
Longie, I would say this, and then let's introduce your lovely guest.
Yeah.
If they brought back public executions, it would be rammed. And what a revolting reflection of people. It's ghastly. Claridge makes a very good point.
And on that note, I would like to introduce a very beautiful human being in many ways. She's one of the good girls. Would you please welcome to Men's Radio Station, DJ Spin'em Dex, Emily Dexter. Hello.
Good morning.
Who are we talking to? Oh, there she is. Jesus.
Hello.
Hello. I love the name DJ Spin'em Dex. It's very clever. That's really very good.
I'm quite lucky with the sound.
Yes, it's a clever play on her real name. But
it is.
I wanted to get Emily on today
because
we pals. We were basically lockdown working partners, weren't we?
We were.
Both working at Radio Jackie. Emily was doing the news, and I will never forget the day I walked in and saw her sliding down the office on a makeshift sledge. That was the day of the Radio Jackie Lockdown Olympics. That's the kind of thing you just wearing a crown, a golden crown made of cardboard.
Who hasn't done that?
Well, me for a start. I walked in. I'm like,
Oh,
what the hell have I walked into? As if the world isn't crazy enough at the moment.
Don't
But no,
do drugs at work, kids.
but she's become an incredibly good friend of mine, and we talked openly, didn't we, about mental health and
We did.
all that sort of thing, and that's how our friendship started.
Can I just interject that I wasn't doing the news on a skateboard? I mean, that would be great, but I had an afternoon show where we were doing a lockdown Olympics.
No, I think it would have been better to do really heavy news, Emily, while you were sledding down the corridor.
I did both, to be
That
fair.
was
Yeah,
Genius.
I was quite disappointed that you didn't. To be honest with you, I thought if you're going to go,
I had got my laurel leaves on and he said, you know,
if you're the
skateboard
laurels,
in tow.
if you're going to notch it up, notch it up.
You
A
are the-
level.
you are the
And just
Caesar
to
of
prove my
Radio
point,
Jackie.
you're known because Kimmy Lashmar is a
hello,
Radio
Kimmy.
Jackie listener, and she obviously remembers you.
Well, there
So,
you go.
Crazy
You
things
double,
we did.
you doubled your audience. So, anyway, Em.
so we were
tell
talking
us
lots
a
about
little
mental
bit about
health.
yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
then Emily
about
says she
mental
wants to
health.
learn to DJ. So we'll be doing a lot of that. And she's a brilliant DJ, presenter, multimedia person, sensitive, talented, wonderful, sparkly human being, and doing a
Is she
wonderful
paying for this promotional spot
I'm gonna
or,
say,
or what?
you know,
charity event
Is she
this
paying
weekend.
for
And now I'm going
the men's
to let you
radio
ask
for
her all
this
about it,
promotional
because I
advert?
already know.
Making me
Okay,
blush now.
okay,
Thank you for all the lovely compliments.
Oh,
But yeah, mental
stop it.
health is so important to me. Everybody has their ups and downs. I've been there,
Yeah.
ups and downs. And Neil and I talked an awful lot about it over lockdown. You know, locked in a studio, and then I suppose we're in a radio station.
Yeah, locked
for,
in the studio with Neil Long. You're brave.
18 months. Yeah, I know. He'd come off air from the
You
breakfast
lucky,
show.
lucky
and
girl.
afternoon.
You lucky,
I
lucky
have
girl.
known him. I
The
should say,
viewers,
not just
the
that.
viewers
I've
are
known him for
split
12
on
years.
this, Neil. The viewers are split. 50%, what a lucky woman. 50%, Jesus Christ.
You can't please them all, Russ. You can't
No,
please
you
them all.
can't. There you go. You
I've
do your
known him
best.
since I was a student, since I was like, well, I'm not going to say when, but 12 years is what I'm saying. 12 years of knowing this wonderful man.
Have you? Has
Yeah.
he? Oh.
We just worked together
Thick
more
and
solidly in a
thin.
more confined
Bless.
space for 18
Okay,
months. So there we go.
so your mental
Um,
health, did it take a big dip in lockdown? That's kind of
Well,
getting
for
what-
me, I mean, partly that's why I've now gone. Neil asked me about DJing, and I
Yeah.
said, look, I'd love to learn it because for me, I actually had to come away from news. And I think people wondered why I left Jackie. I hadn't particularly left it, but it just life took a different path because
Right.
I
So
had
you're
been
not
a
on
journalist.
I don't listen to Radio Jackie.
No,
forgive
no.
me.
So
So
Kimmy does.
you're not on it.
no.
She is
So
your-
I was a journalist for a while, working for major
But you left.
broadcasters like
You
Channel 4
left.
News.
I'm sorry.
XIT.
I'm just trying to dig down, Emily. You left
Yeah.
Radio Jackie. You're not there now.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so I found news too heavy, if I'm perfectly honest, for my mental health quite a few years ago. I was working for Channel 4 News. I was very lucky with that and a fantastic job. But I found myself, for me, I really admire journalists hugely who can take on those big, heavy stories. And I've got friends that do it. And for me, I'd take the weight home and it would be really, really tough. for me.
That is
So I came away
so
from journalism.
interesting.
So I came away from it for a while.
What can I just dig a little deeper on that because
course.
it's something that's never ever discussed.
Yes.
And people assume that the folks that read the news can give the most ghastly story. I'm not talking about economics. I mean, like some horror story, and then just go off and have dinner and everything's fine. In other words, they're the reverse of Velcro. They're Teflon.
Yeah.
No,
But it's
not
not
at all.
always the case, is it?
It's a brave face. I mean, and I said I admire hugely those who seem, I should say, to be able to let it run off water for ducks back. But actually, there's an awful lot of mental health issues with journalists, and they feel it's their duty. You take that responsibility to give impartial, neutral news. But you see and hear some horrendous things.
Over and over again.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't even one of those who was out, in war zones. I mean, my colleagues who are out in Ukraine.
Well, there was the Radio
It's-
Jackie office. That can be like a war zone at times. Anyway,
You're making
Yeah,
light of this important point. What's the matter with you?
No, it's true. No, but no, those who are out in Ukraine, goodness me. I mean, I couldn't even dream of seeing those horrors and being there. To
You know
witness.
what, Emily? I work a lot less now, thanks to rescheduling, with the great Petri Hoskin, who was a war journalist, literally hiding during the Bosnian War in a tank under attack, literally. And I discussed it with her, and she has a very different. But I think it's your how you're wired, because by pure chance, and this relates exactly to what you're saying, DJ Spinham Dex. The night of the Grenfell fire, by pure chance, I was on BBC Radio London in the studio, and it was unfolding. And they offered us counselling, which I said, no, thanks very much. It was ghastly. Now, please don't think I'm saying, oh, it's so terrible for me, not for the... No, because we couldn't put any of the calls that were coming in to air. They were so horrific. That's how horrible it was. So I understand that. It really was. I can get it, what you're saying. So you left Channel 4.
Yeah, and actually, I should just say that the great Jon Snow, I was his interview producer when I was there, and he came back, and not to name drop, there's a reason why, because if this man, who we all know and respect, and I've loved his coverage for many years in many war zones and international coverage, global coverage, and domestic. He came back actually of the summer I'm talking about was the summer of 2014, where we won't go into it, but some serious atrocities in the Middle East, alluding a little bit to what you were saying before, and to some horrendous...
Jon Snow is, however, I'm sorry, I can't let it slip by, and if Phil Dave was here, he'd say the same thing. I've met Jon Snow many times socially. Socially, he's perfectly charming, but he is biased in his views.
What I was going to say is, on a personal note, to see the human being, because I worked with him, like Neil and I got to know each other, as you do in your off-air. He came back from covering a story in the Middle East, and actually it wasn't to do with the bombers. He'd gone to go and see the result of things, and was in children's hospitals. And he said, he stood up in the newsroom and said to everybody, for the first time in my life, after everything that I've covered, all over the world, Bosnia, all of the big atrocities, I'm going to refer myself for counselling. I've come back, and I am really in need of it. I've seen children dying, and et cetera, et cetera. We won't go into the detail. And this time I need counselling. And I remember thinking, wow, at that point as a journalist, I thought I knew I was going to be coming out of it a few weeks later anyway. But I did think, gosh, if you can stand up and say there, and I'm struggling with my mental health going through what we're going in the news.
The conversations like this really help so much, because you can be open and honest
Well,
about it,
saying,
particularly in a forum like this. And if Jon Snow can be that honest.
Yeah, and I was fairly early in my career.
There's no shame in
Exactly.
it at all.
But there shouldn't be... Whoa, Neil. I would have failed completely in my duty as co-founder of this enterprise with Howard and Penny if there was the slightest hint that there was any shame.
If there is any shame, it's in
there's
not taking
no
care
shame.
of your mental health.
There is no shame. The shame would be if people dissuaded you from doing it. That would be the shame.
Well, yeah.
That would be shameful. Yeah, absolutely.
But it was a pivotal moment for me, and I've been told. I did my master's at City and had some fantastic journalists teaching me from all different broadcasters, and they were always very open about their mental health, actually, and saying, look, there are times when you might feel you need to go and get some counselling, and it is very much a discussion that's being had much more openly now than it was. And this is nearly 10 years ago now, showing my age. But anyway, but when Jon Snow stood up in the when he stood up in the newsroom and said that, I remember thinking, I was early in my career and thought, wow, actually, whether you like his views or not, on a personal view, on a personal level, this man is really advocating mental health and saying,
I get that. No, I get that. The two are not connected.
No. And he said it's like having. I remember an excellent counsellor. I've had counselling in the past. I think lots of people have. But he I was a really brilliant counsellor once said to me that actually it's like a computer hard drive that has had a glitch in it. And until you talk it through with somebody or whatever you need to do, maybe CBT, whatever one of the therapy is that works for you.
You need to defrag.
Then, it's like defragging. It literally was. She said
it's like
defragging.
An F5, and if that doesn't work, defrag.
Here's the problem, Em. If it's the thing you want to do most in life, and it's your career, and then you look in the mirror and go, this is absolutely destroying me.
Well,
That's
actually,
tough.
I can jump in here very quickly because I'm going to big Emily up because she's probably too shy to boast for herself. But it's not the only thing she's good at.
I'm sure she does.
She's an incredibly good presenter. We've done some amazing gigs. We've been DJing. We've interviewed Bez, Mondays, all sorts.
Yeah, I get that. I get all of that. But that's
right.
aside. I mean, the point is that was her vocation. Yeah. And then you suddenly come to the thing like, I can't do it.
Well, that, and also not only had I invested in it personally, but for lots of young journalists out there, and it's very much they won't mind me saying, there are no BBC training courses anymore. You do financially invest a lot of money to do your training now, to be a safe pair of hands. You need a lot of law behind you. in order to be taken on by the big broadcasters. So yeah, when I found myself thinking, oh my goodness, what have I let myself in for? This isn't what I thought it was going to be. I mean, this is mentally very, very tough. I said I have huge admiration for those that can do it. I went back to it over the pandemic, and then thought for the second time around, no, do you know what? I need a bit more light in my life. This is too much shade.
Yeah, it's heavy.
But
It's heavy stuff.
yeah, there are lots of journalists who are in a bit of a pickle, and they hopefully have got people to reach out.
Can I
to.
ask you this? And it's a serious, not a facetious question.
Not at all. Oh, I think you've frozen, Russ.
That's all right. It'll come back in a minute. It'll reboot itself.
Okay.
We're rebooting. Okay.
Here it comes.
Where you say that there's so much law and so much training in being journalists, why is it that the level of tabloid journalism is at an all-time disgraceful, despicable low? Leading on from what Neil and I were chatting about Pip Schofield.
I honestly, I couldn't give you a good answer for that, because I've never chosen to work for a tabloid. I worked in the same building. Channel 5 News at the time I was working there was in the same building as one of the red tops, we won't name it, is in the lower levels of that room. That building. And I remember walking into that room thinking, these are not people that I particularly would like to work with. And they're making their living, and that's fine. And I respect them in some ways. There are some things tabloids do well.
Is it fine?
Absolutely.
Is it fine? Is it fine if you're throwing people under the bus?
No,
Is
and
it fine?
That's why I've never ever.
No. You see, there's a difference between a proper journalist
Absolutely
and someone who writes any old garbage, doesn't check any of the facts.
Exactly.
Why? And Neil mentioned it, and I didn't have time to come back. Neil said, "Is it just about the story now?" And I went, "Yes." You do understand that. They don't care. They will have in a tabloid, not in some of the heavyweights, completely opposing views. One on page 4, one on page 7. And you go, wait a minute, you're saying exactly the same. Only about the story. They
But
don't.
You know what they say? Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Well,
in this context, I'd say never let anyone's mental health get in the way of a good story. We got to talk about Emily's charity gig before we get on next.
Okay, yes, please do. I'm just putting this up while you chat about it.
Yeah. I've never wanted to be that sort of journalist. That's what I never ever. I was offered opportunities. I went, no, it's not me. There are those that have to be held to account. I mean, our politicians, they're used to it. They know that's what being part of a politician is being in public eye. The media will go after them to a extent. I still don't agree with character assassination. I think that is appalling. But I interviewed Peter Mandelson once because they needed to be done, and he was very happy to have that. We actually had a very good debate between the two, but it was a debate and it was a good conversation as opposed to a one-sided, we're going to go for you and take you down, which is not my way of doing things at all. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, it kind of you don't have to take an oath as a journalist. You do as a medic, you do if you're in the armed forces, etc. In some ways, it might be a good idea too, and go, do you know what? I will remain impartial. I will remain neutral, and I'm not going to take somebody down for the sake of a story in my career. It's just, there are many other journalists. I'm not going to name names, but the financial crisis was whistleblown by a number of journalists who, did it for their own story. They couldn't wait to get the story out there. It would have made a big difference to the whole world.
Comment from Liz. You do have to be disciplined as a news journalist. I found it very tough initially because 9/11 happened when I started my career and it was overwhelming. Blimey, talk about chucking you in at the deep end. I left news for a couple of years and came back with a better mental attitude, or maybe just gave yourself a break because it is a challenging thing. Thank you for being so open about it.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, without being too graphic about it, the beheadings in the Middle East is what I was dealing with in my first year. And that was tough at Channel 4. I went, oh my God, I can't unsee. Oh, I didn't have to see.
Anyway, time is marching because I can see the fabulous Chantel live from somewhere in Italy getting ready to go. So tell us about your gig, and then I would love to have you back when we have more time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can come back when we've done it and tell you what happened.
Now that is the correct
very interesting avenues here. Anyway, tell us about this.
This is something that's much more happy stuff. So I've gone into lighter, as I said, hence why skateboarding down the corridor doing our Mad Flip really justice. Now, the year before the pandemic, my absolutely gorgeous teacher, Jill Grant, who taught at LEH, Lady in the Hollis School, for over 30 years, possibly more, I really can't remember. so many years. She passed away from cancer, and she'd had a wonderful life, but it was cut short. And I, again, mental health wise, thought, what on earth can I do? I was absolutely distraught when I found she wasn't here anymore. And I'd stayed in contact with her. I'd spoken to her, thank God, the Christmas before she went. So I did a quick Google and thought, well, I'm going to do something for charity. I'm going to do something I wouldn't usually do. So a charity walk for the Shooting Stars Children Hospices, which
I know
are
them. Yes, yes.
and there's one in Guildford, and they are incredible. Their patron, lucky for them, is the Duchess of Edinburgh. Simon Cowell is involved.
Is that Sophie? I lose track with all the
Yes,
titles.
Sophie. Sophie, former Countess of Wessex, now Duchess of Edinburgh. Sophie. She's been there from the beginning. She opened the hospice in Guildford. But Simon Cowell is behind them. Joan Collins. You've got some really interesting people who love this charity, and it's
So you
so very
have to have. So to support it, you must have face work. Is that how it works?
They've got some incredible patrons over the years. Now, the lovely thing is, and the link with me and with my school, is that when they were building the hospice in Hampton, which a little foggy on the dates, but somewhere between 1995 they started. I know we got very involved as a school in 1999, just before the millennium, because I started at senior school then. We helped fundraise tens of thousands, I think actually 100,000 at the beginning of pounds to build the hospice, literally bricks and mortar, for these amazing children. One of the girls from my school unfortunately had to go and use their services because she was very poorly. I know, and unfortunately she's no longer with. But what an amazing support they gave her and her family. Now, so I thought, right, Jill herself didn't have children, and the year before she died in the summer, not knowing that was obviously coming, but she said to me, we went for lunch. She said, "Look, my pupils are my children." And I thought, right, that is the charity. We're doing something for that charity, definitely. I'm a sporty-ish person, but I've never been a kind of marathon runner. So runs were out of the question, but I thought, right, we'll do a walk. So 10K charity walk at sunrise. I am not a morning person.
And that was last week.
As he knows, absolutely not. I'm a night owl. So I thought, right, that's a bit of a challenge. Up at dawn, go and see the sunrise, 10K around Richmond Park, Petersham, the local area, not far from school. Let's raise some money for this incredible charity in her memory. And that's what I did. So my amazing mum was roped in with me.
Oh, bless.
Knackered mum.
We had a knackered mum, yeah, bless her.
But then it continues this weekend as well. So
Sparkly Striders is a team name. We dressed in stupid outfits, sequins, etc. You know what I'm like. We had fairy lights
Sparkly
on, the whole galore at 3 a.m. in the morning on Sunday. It was an amazing, beautiful thing to do. It gave us some time to reflect.
Well, congratulations, because
tell them about this Sunday.
So this Sunday's a fundraiser. We're doing it after the event, just so we can get lots of people involved in it. So the great thing is, not only are we online, and there is a tiny URL there, as you can see, Sparkly Striders.
That's if you want to donate.
That's if you want to donate, and absolutely no obligation to you whatsoever.
There's a wonderful place around here. Can I say very quickly called Hookie Street? It's a coffee shop, and we were going to do the fundraiser live from here, the Conservatory, New Malden's only online nightclub. But no, Mr. E came up with a great idea, and he said, let's go out and about. So we're going to a brilliant Falls and Horses themed bar, themed coffee shop called Hookie Street, which is in Malden Manor in southwest London, and we're doing it from 12 to 5 on Sunday. And we're doing it also online. So if you'd like to see us do it online,
I will keep my fingers crossed that it's a huge hit. You're welcome to stay on the sofa, but remember what happened to Holly. Ladies and gentlemen, live. I won't let it go.
The curse of the sofa. Do you dare?
I won't let it go.
Yeah,
Why should I?
Click on that link. We'll play requests. No obligation to donate, as I'm saying. We'd love to have you online with us. There's a chat on there. Requests. We're going to have a mad 5 hours.
Or come and see us at Hookie Street, Malden Manor Station.
Okay.
Better, 5 hours of madness for charity.
Zymagazine, that's enough. Right, ladies and gentlemen, time for this. Ladies and gentlemen, live from somewhere in Italy, in Tuscany. She looks tanned. She looks relaxed. It's the fabulous Chantal Ricard's OBE.
Hello.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. You look well.
Look at that setting. I want to be there, Chantal. I want to be there now.
You look so well. You are making me look very pale and male.
God damn. Well, we are.
She does it radiant. Absolutely radiant.
I wish I was there. You kidding me? Better than picking up my dog poo because she's not well.
Goodness.
Right. Where in the world are you? The clues are there as we go.
Clues are I'm about 50 kilometers south of Florence.
Okay.
And I'm or 70 kilometers east of Pisa, if
Right.
that makes sense to anybody.
Yes,
So I'm
it is.
way between Vienna and Florence.
I know the Italians are a little casual. Does this place have a name, or they just give you say go past Pisa and keep going?
Yeah, I think it's near a village called San Donato in Poggia.
Yeah.
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah, right. And no dressing with mine. Thank you. Okay. Is it as fabulous as I hoped it would be?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know the Tuscan. Well, until this week, I didn't know the Tuscan countryside at all. I had it in my entire life. I had 2 days in Florence and 1 day in Pisa, but never had been to this wonderful coast, just gorgeous side, full of cypress trees and vineyards and olive groves, and it's as beautiful as you could possibly imagine. So I feel very spoiled to have been here for a week.
It doesn't disappoint, does it? It's every
No.
bit as magical as you hope that
Yeah.
it might be, and then some.
Indeed, all those films I've ever seen, under the Tuscan.
I love it there. The moment
Oh,
I get there, I become who I think I was meant to be. Not this person. Not this person, that's for damn sure. Right. Have you had chance to see anything at all apart from cypress trees? We can talk about cypress trees for half an hour. I don't care. We're just happy to have you. I didn't expect it. It's a bonus.
Well, no, it's very, very lovely to be with you guys today, because Fridays wouldn't be Fridays unless I sort of, dropped in and had a chat with you guys, because, that's what life's all about, really. Getting my priorities sorted.
So lovely.
Well, quite right.
This is what friendship and it's just amazing. Thank you. I don't know what to say. I'm quite touched. Quite touched. So what's coming? What have you seen, if anything? Let's talk about why.
Slightly squiffy, and I thought I'd better gen up on a few programs before today, just in case I found I had enough time to call into the show. And actually, I hit on a show that's been out for 48 hours called Hijack with Idris Elba. That is surprisingly good. I mean, it's completely daft, but it's absolutely perfect TV watching. If you love it, Idris Elba, it is on. Let me get this right. Apple TV. It's just called Hijack, and he is basically a sort of James Bond meets Jason Bourne meets Die Hard. The clue is in the title, let's face it, it's called Hijack. It's about a plane with 200 passengers on that takes off from Dubai on its way to Heathrow, which I have done many times. And then it all goes horribly wrong in about the first 5 minutes. And actually, it's just deliciously good rubbish. And it's better than rubbish, because you sort of feel as though you shouldn't be enjoying it as much as you are. And you think, yeah, maybe I won't do another episode. Anyway, last night I completely went down the Hijack rabbit hole. And I didn't stop watching till 3 o'clock this morning. But it's a 7-parter. There are only 2 episodes to watch at the moment. So if you want to wait and download them all in 5 weeks' time, then you can probably get all 7, pack them up, take them on your summer holidays. But if not, I think it's going to be a really good fun watch.
He's very busy. Sorry, go on, Neil.
While we're talking good romps, Chantal, did you see the film that came out? You might have even talked about it on this slot. Forgive me if you have. It came out late last year called Violent Night, and it's kind of Die Hard. Oh, you have to see it. It's kind of Die Hard meets Home Alone. It is absolutely brilliant.
That sounds
it's the real Santa Claus.
Oh, what a concept.
It's the real Santa, not like someone dressed as Santa. He's the real Santa and getting really pissed off with his job because the kids are ungrateful and all they want is money and gadgets, and I'm probably not going to do it anymore. And then he gets involved in saving a family from these awful criminals. Honestly,
it looked hilarious.
It's number one, it's hilarious. Number 2, it's the closest I've ever come to believing in Santa Claus after watching that. And number 3, it is basically Die Hard meets Home Alone. And there's a homage to Home Alone. You know, all the pranks that she plays on Joe Pesci in Home Alone. It's a little girl in this one, so I say she. There's a homage to that, and it's just brilliant.
It sounds rather good. But
clearly in Father Christmas.
Of course I believe in Father Christmas.
You
can't not believe in Father Christmas after watching
I know,
that.
it's true.
It's the actor that you know, David, and his surname begins with an H, and I can't think what it is. He's a well-known actor. Oh, it's gone out of my head because...
Got the research team here on it, don't worry.
Yeah, the entire Men's Radio, Sound Mind Radio Group research team, which is Neil Long with a phone. And
David
doesn't get-
Harbour.
David Harbour, that's the guy.
That
Oh,
was
David
spooky.
Harbour. Oh, he's
Yes,
terrific.
yes.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Right, okay,
Absolutely
well,
hilarious.
I don't
I
know
Idris
what's-
Elba is very, very busy at the moment, isn't he? Because he turns up in the Chris Hemsworth Extraction 2. It's not about dentists. Thank
He
you.
does.
I'm here all week. Extraction 1 I thoroughly enjoyed, was terrific. And they thought, well, we've got a hit on our hands. Let's do the same nonsense, but say it in another country. So Extraction 2, it's great. I mean, if you like that sort of... I love Chris Hemsworth. I think he's terrific.
I
And
think
Idris
Hemsworth
Elba,
is
again, is
amazing.
a kind of Bond mystery. I mean, that's where they're going with it, aren't they? I mean, he's everywhere. Good luck to him. Why not? Good luck.
I'm just in my lunch order. Excuse me a moment.
I love this.
Oh,
This
don't
is
mind
brilliant.
us.
Yeah, no, we're
It's
okay.
awful when you just want to put in your lunch order and some idiot builds a whole radio show around you.
Don't worry about us. We're absolutely fine. Oh, here we
Also, I
go.
don't think I want to know what she's eating because I'm going to go even greener with Embry for
Yeah, I'm
don't
going
even
to
tell
start
us. We don't
I'm
wanna
going
know.
to start punching the wall in a second. I'm so jealous. Isadon, I do love Tuscany. Oh God, I adore it. I concur. I've watched. I nearly bought a place there. Thank God we didn't. I concur. I've watched 2 episodes of Hijack. I enjoyed it so far.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody needs.
I nearly bought on a hill a beautiful. Well, it wasn't. You're going to laugh. It was like a cowshed and milking shed, but the view was incredible. And I thought, I'm going to build this. Is going to be my dream home, and I'm going to be here. And then I thought, who the hell am I kidding? I really got into it. You know, kept looking at it. Going, I'm just so happy that it's beautiful. Love everything about it. When are you coming back to West London?
Well, okay. Good question because
Here we go.
a friend of mine, another British radio and TV broadcaster, was here until this morning.
Oh,
He disappeared off to Florence Airport and then was immediately put on a bus to Pisa because Florence Airport, because of that terrible thunderstorm, thunder and lightning we've had today,
right. Very, very frightening.
BA couldn't land at Florence. So my friend was then diverted on a bus to Pisa Airport.
Oh,
I'm
Christ.
going to Pisa Airport this evening and straight back to Heathrow. And that's the big international airport around here. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the jets will be able to get into Pisa, but they couldn't get into Florence this morning. So, but the sun is, I think, it looks as though it's going to come out, but it was torrential rain this morning. But
That is the thing about Tuscany, isn't it? When it rains, boy, oh boy, does it rain.
Yeah.
And it looks miserable.
I think there's a bit of global warming going on here because these summer thunderstorms didn't really used to exist, and now they do. So,
So that's a regular thing? That's a regular gig?
apparently,
Wow.
we'll see. But anyway, so I'm heading back into town tonight.
Ah, just in time for Pride.
Ah, very good.
It's
It
Saturday.
is Pride today, yeah. Friend
It's
of mine,
Saturday, which I've just reminded that my 2 compadres in the Secret Cigar Trio. I said, you do know it's Pride tomorrow. Because they want to meet up in Soho. I'm going, it might be a bit crowded. I don't think they've thought it through. Now, what else? What have you seen anything else? Because there's other stuff I could chat about that we've seen.
Well, a few things I'm more than happy to share with you.
Have you seen the new Black Mirror?
No, I like Black Mirror, and I really enjoyed the first series, and then I didn't stick with it. And I know that's wrong because it's incredibly well written.
Why is it wrong?
Well, because it's been so highly regarded by.
Yeah, so what? You don't like it. You don't like it. I'm like.
I like some episodes, and some I'm not sure. Some are brilliantly dystopic and really disturbing. I think my favourite one, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the young guy that gets caught looking at things he shouldn't on the computer and he gets blackmailed.
Oh, that was
Viciously blackmailed. Have you seen that one?
vicious.
No, I haven't.
That's upright. Going to research that.
Longie is absolutely right. I got to tell you that if you're feeling a bit fragile, don't watch that episode.
Yeah, it's brutal, isn't it?
He's a genius.
Mental
I'm
health
so
wise,
sorry.
no.
Sorry, Spindex. What's
I'm
that?
saying before bedtime, do you not watch these things on a mental health note? Like, not a good idea. That's the way to not sleep for weeks.
Well, here's my problem. Here's my problem. I'm a very bad sleeper. So I discovered on Amazon they're rerunning Hammer House of Horror, the TV series from 1980. So I watched like a very young Brian Cox. Brian Cox is like young guy. Can you imagine the Brian Cox? And it's got phenomenal actors and actresses in it. Phenomenal people. And scary as hell. 1980. So some, like the cars,
Yeah.
everything looks like out of a museum. But the storylines, you're absolutely right. I had the worst nightmares.
Yeah.
Emily, I had the worst nightmares. Wasn't good.
Not a good plan. Not a good plan.
No, well, I never said I was clever. I just, I've never pretended. I don't really
Right,
think.
that is the name of the episode of Black Mirror. It's called Shut Up and Dance.
God, it's
Okay,
vicious.
don't know.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
really.
I'm giving
Say again. There we go. Oh,
I'll tell
okay.
you face. Have you seen
We're
Poker?
back.
Have I seen?
sorry, we had a little reboot there. Could you say that again, Chantal, please?
Poker Face on Sky? Have you seen that?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you about it then.
Okay.
Please do.
Right. Oh.
It's American. It's made by the Peacock Channel, which is NBC, whose people might recognize the logo, which is like a peacock with all the different coloured
Yes.
feathers.
Yes.
Anyway, Peacock is a sort of subsidiary of NBC, and this is a brand new sort of police procedural, of which there are millions upon millions. But this actually is rather fun. The premise is about a girl who works in a casino who can tell when people are lying. Don't ask me how she does it, and we're not
Oh.
really supposed to dig into that very closely. But she can tell if you're lying. Anyway, each week she falls across some new, there's a dead body, there's a mystery, there's a murder, there's something. But she can tell who's winding up the police and who isn't. And actually, it's rather cleverly made.
Ooh.
It's
And what's it called again?
It's called Poker Face. It started probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago
And what's it on?
Sky.
Right.
But you might find it if you've got the Peacock channel on one of your separate feeds. You'll find it on Peacock because that's who made it. But it's actually worth watching. It's an actress I didn't know called Natasha Lyonne, who plays this woman Charlie, who works in the gambling club. And there are different character actors in each program. The only person who is continuous is an actor called Benjamin Bratt.
Oh, who Julia Doodad, Pretty Woman's boyfriend.
And he used to be in the very early series of Law and Order.
Oh yes, that was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
But there are other, well-known people who just come in on a sort of weekly basis. And they've got very, very good, extra subsidiary characters each week. And, it's very watchable. She's a very nice actress that I really didn't know at all. But I think it's going to be quite fun. I think it's going to become a staple. I think they're already talking about a second series if they haven't started making it. So have a look, dip in, see if you like it. But she's great. And it's called Poker Face.
I love this. David Green says it's similar to... Oh, God. Similar to mixing metaphors. Similar to a psychic Miss Marple. Bloody love that.
Oh, I like that.
That's really clever. Imagine Miss Marple, but she was psychic.
Excellent.
Now, you were
I think my
frantically
new
looking
show
something
should
up.
be
I was
Hercule
looking-
Poirot, but he's a secret serial killer.
Wow. Well, it was just reminded me of another series I dipped into the beginning of, and then life took over, and I couldn't, as it is, you kind of binge watch a few and then you carry on. My friends have reminded me recently, it's on its 3rd season now, called Only Murders in the Building. It's on Disney Plus, but it's got the one and only Steve Martin in it, and that is an amazing series. Just so clever, so well produced.
A lot of awards. It was based on the idea is around there doing a podcast.
Yes.
And they are, and anyway, there's always some ripping yarn or other, and dead bodies.
I just love those two.
But it won.
Aren't
Yeah.
they just great?
Yeah.
They're just
Absolutely.
I
great.
think it won an Emmy.
I
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
the other week. I just scanned channels. I mean, I've got I can't settle down at the moment, and I was watching Three Amigos, which just makes me laugh.
Classic.
And you could see the warmth and the chemistry with Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Yeah.
And nothing from Chevy Chase. Nothing.
Really?
No, you could just tell, like the other two were like giving it full welly, and he just had that. I'm the handsome one here, and I don't know. I think you kind of look back and see what a miserable guy is, what a bloke he's become, and it kind of was evident in that The Three Amigos just cracks me up.
I just think of that Paul Simon video. You can call me Al with Chevy Chase. I mean, he's
really funny because I was trying to remember what it was in my head because you showed it to me when we were at work one day. One of the lockdown, let's pick ourselves off the room. And yeah, I had never seen it. I'd heard, I loved that.
never seen the iconic "You Can Call Me Al."
No, I have.
So much to learn.
My favourite track in the world, but for whatever reason, I had not realised. Probably because I watched this when I was tiny, because I've always grown up with that track. It was brilliant, and one of my absolute favourites. I hadn't realised who it was at the time. Then I watched it back with him and went, "Oh my god, it's Chevy Chase! Of course it is." But that is just an amazing. I mean, that's hilarious video. Absolutely brilliant.
Any more, Chantal? Any more?
Chantal, here's a really good question. Here's a really good question. Seriously, this is coming in from Pop Master Queen herself, Kimmy Lashmuck. She's on TV at the moment. These are all channels I can't get unless there's another way of finding them. You know everything.
Not legally, no.
They get to find, but
so I'm told.
Yeah,
but they do get released. Some of the series get released once they've been broadcast on Disney Plus, and you can then purchase them via Amazon or other providers are already available. But there are or you can sometimes buy a box set online and things. There are other ways of getting them. Just you might not be quite in that very moment. So don't worry. Hold out for them to come.
I started watching Breaking Bad 3 years too late, and I got hooked.
Don't rush to buy it because, in a serious note, because it comes out and it says, yes, you can buy this for like 15 quid. You think, I don't think so, thank you. It's a cinema ticket, fair enough, but you got the comfort of your own home. And then it comes down to about 5 quid, and then eventually it goes free. So, don't rush, it'll stay.
It'll all come around at some stage. Well, actually, there is something I could just briefly mention.
Oh, yes.
If you've seen it and to get your reaction to it. And if you're a Catherine Tate fan, you will love it. And if you're not a Catherine Tate fan, you might sort of scratch your head and go, is this really as funny as it's supposed to be? Or it should be? And it's something called Queen of Oz. Have you seen it?
Just the trailer. Oh.
I didn't hear you. Could you say that again, Chantal?
It's called The Queen of Oz.
Okay.
It's the sitcom that Catherine Tate has written and appears in. And she basically is a spare royal from the British royal family who is said to become the queen in Australia because she can, basically. So the premise is pretty damn bonkers. But she's uncouth, she's loud, she's a drunk. And she's basically been sent to Australia because she's a, completely ridiculous human being that the royal family want to park offshore about 12,000 miles away. So the idea is really actually quite funny. And it is a sort of situation comedy, but it isn't laugh out loud. The jokes aren't sort of cracking through it.
Right. Because the premise sounds great. I think why wouldn't that be brilliant?
Yeah. Well,
take a look at the trailer.
Okay, Russ.
I have to leave the room when the trailer comes. I have to physically
literal head in hands moment a minute ago. Not good.
It's just like anyway.
Well,
maybe they just picked a bad scene.
There was one
bad scene.
The Royals that came out. I remember a friend of mine was in it. We couldn't. I think she was Princess Beatrice or Eugenie. I never worked out which one. I think she was Beatrice's spoof. Hattie Preston, the comedian.
Hattie Preston. Oh God, she's fantastic.
Absolutely amazing. She's an incredible comedian now. She's come out of acting. But again, I watched it, and it was. I mean, there are parts of it you going, "Oh my God, this is just so far fetched." What? But it is. If you want something lighthearted and you don't want to be freaked out in your mind before bed, these things are good. These things are good to have the lighthearted kind of crazy stuff. Why not?
The Catherine Tate show, Chantal, what channel is it on? Ask Popmeister.
It's on the BBC. I think it was BBC One, so you'll find it on the iPlayer somewhere. But started last week, I think.
More importantly, much more importantly than this, did you go to any of the places that we emailed about? Have you managed to get to Siena?
Yes, I spent Tuesday in Siena and was completely.
That means nothing to me. Siena.
Always rely on him. Always rely on this man. Unbelievable.
Siena is where they've got the
and Luca.
Yeah,
where they do the.
Oh, she lives on the second floor. Keep him coming.
Oh man, he's on fire today.
Keep him coming. That's two.
He's on fire because he's sitting next to you. It's the only reason he's on fire. Believe me, I can so. I've known him too long. So then you did Siena with that fantastic tower. Oh my God.
Fantastic tower and the horse race. They're due to
the Palio. The Palio.
I think, takes place this weekend. So it was already set up for it when we went in on Tuesday. We did a little bit of shopping. That was jolly nice. And the other place we've been to locally that is very well known is San Gimignano, which is a small medieval town that we went to yesterday, which is just mind-blowingly beautiful. And the food around here is wonderful, and I now know what a super Tuscan is. A super Tuscan, which is not a 6-foot-tall local Italian man, but it's very full-bodied red wine that I am now going to see if I can find back home.
It is. It knocks your head off, doesn't it?
Super tough.
It
I
knocks
got
your
a bit
head
lost
off.
about the description of the lovely men out there. Send them my way. Very happy.
Yeah, calm down. It's like a what's that wine that Barolo? What's the one? Not Barolo.
Barolo.
Barolo. But oh my God.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, you
don't
think you've been
think-
hit by a truck.
I'm not sure that that's a Tuscan wine. If it is, we haven't had it whilst we've been here. But
Well, you'd know because you'd still be asleep.
Chianti-shire.
Yeah.
Because, all the Brits are here and, everybody's drinking Chianti of one form or another.
Chianti-shire.
And I'm so envious of
Like-
you and Luca. One of my best friends got married in Luca last year, and I got COVID, so I couldn't go. Couldn't believe it. Unbelievable. And yeah, they had an amazing holiday there many years ago, which is why they decided to get married there. And oh God, the food and the views and everything about it. But tell us what you're eating. I'm intrigued now. You've been drinking.
What is
lots of
lunch?
stuff, but what's lunch?
Oh, we're going out to a restaurant for lunch. So
Very
my
nice.
friends are taking me out for my last Italian meal, which I'm very upset about. So I don't know, but we've had a lot of fabulous pasta, a lot of truffles here. So a lot of pasta with truffles.
Nice.
Beautiful cured meats. We had a fabulous barbecue last night with everything you could possibly imagine.
Calzone.
It's been a lovely week. I can't begin.
And
to tell-
gelato. You must have had some ice cream, surely. I mean, you can't.
Very
eat
nice.
it.
Yeah, and the ice cream is wonderful. I mean, what's not to like?
We can stop talking to you now. I mean, I'm green with envy. That's it. Conversation over.
Yeah, me
Finished.
too.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, too jealous.
You look very, very well, if you don't mind me
do.
saying
Right.
so. Or by
Yeah.
contrast, as I say, you just make me look stale, pale,
Well,
and male. I need to change
In
my
fairness,
background.
it is a grey day here in
Yeah.
London, it has to be said. We have got a total contrast to you right now. But it looks gorgeous where you are. Very, very
Shantas,
good.
thank you so much for
Right.
taking the time and the
Hey,
trouble.
no
It's so sweet of you, and some great recommendations as well. Enjoy your lovely lunch, safe
Right.
journey back, and you'll be fine. You can go to a Pizza Express in Wandsworth and feel right back at home. Said nobody ever. Chantal,
No.
bye bye.
Take care,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you, Chantal.
Bye.
Nice to see you. I don't normally get to see you.
She's great. She's the best. Chantal, the best. Doesn't matter where in the world.
I have a slight recommendation for you, by the way.
Oh,
because I've been
please
thinking
do.
about
Emily
you're not
Dexter,
sleeping,
aka
right?
DJ Spin'em Dex.
So the not sleeping thing.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if we can say which brand. I have a particular brand that I use that's fantastic. But there are many on their market. The sleep sprays. My dad is a complete skeptic on these things. Never want. He'll try things, but he's like, oh, really? And he's not a big fan of lavender. Basement on fine.
I've tried that.
However, there are some incredible sleep sprays out there. Weirdly, full circle, the teacher who I mentioned we're doing the fundraiser for, she's actually the one who bought me one of these first and said, look, I know you're having trouble sleeping when I was a journalist. This is brilliant stuff. So the one I use is by This Works, who are local actually in Wimbledon. They have a sleep and a sleep plus. One is for those who can't get to sleep, which tends to be yours truly. And one is for those who get to sleep and then are restless and they wake themselves out of their sleep. Some very, very clever technology in both of them. I said there are others who have now developed similar technologies, but This Works were the first ones to do it, did scientific trials. They've used loads of sleep clinic
What do you
data.
do? You spray yourself with it? What's
No,
the
you
deal?
literally put it on your bed linen and go to sleep. And the combination of, let me write this out, so lavender, chamomile, vetiver, and others, just calms your brain chemistry down. They've put people on CAT scans. They've shown, they've
Emma
scientifically
Jane.
proved it. So here we go. Yes, lettuce, exactly. Yes, and it's got
Emma Jane, I need to get in touch with you. I will contact you later. Lovely to see you on the show.
Being on the pull, please. We're running a radio.
I'm not on the pull.
Yeah, I know what you're
well,
doing.
yeah, lettuce is amazing to
Just
use.
because I'm surrounded by lovely ladies.
Do you know one of the best things you can eat before you go to sleep? Actually, because of the what they're made up of,
And Ken.
is lettuce and turkey, and turkey will send you to sleep as well.
Turkey,
Most of them
That's
have.
right.
it's so boring
Yes.
and bland. That's why.
Well, no, it's nice
Turkey sends
lettuce.
people to sleep
You
at
put something else with it. You know, put a bit of olive oil or something, a bit of pepper. Something. I don't know. If you're having trouble, you can. Those really do. Which is why after the Christmas dinner that everybody has, Christmas lunch, we all have a little snooze. That's what happens.
It
The
all
turkey
makes
actually
sense.
you go to sleep.
Good luck with your fundraiser on Sunday.
Yes,
hope
please
it
do
goes
join us if
very
you possibly
well.
can. We'd
Thank
love
you
to.
very,
We'd love to
very,
have
very
the
much.
more on that timeline, the better. I said, please, no obligation to donate. It'd be great to raise a lot of money, but we just would like a room full, a virtual room full, whatever we can, full of people to celebrate my lovely teacher and that incredible walk.
And it's on my Facebook wall, Neil Long DJ, and I'll see you Monday, won't I, Russ?
And God willing, and lovely to meet you. And always a pleasure, never a chore. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. If you're going to Pride, have loads of fun. Bye-bye.
Enjoy.